Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jesse, and I'm the founder and grandmaster of MMA, Mexican martial arts. And I want to let you know that I just recorded like 11 minutes of a podcast, of this podcast number 3, and then I deleted it. It wasn't going good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give you the real stuff right here. All right, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna act like I'm a professional and perfect and stuff like that. I'm just a real everyday grandmaster that makes mistakes. And it just felt like low energy and I wasn't feeling it. And I don't know. I know a lot of people right now are like, hey, fool, stop doubting yourself. Just look at, this is who I am, all right? This is what goes on below the beanie. And now I'm presenting it to you. Aside from the times where I delete it and then I don't let you ever witness it. Aside from that. But now that I'm here, I want to take a moment to talk about how on the first episode ever, I deleted the first 28 minutes of the recording. I want to keep talking about that. I'm playing. I'm playing. Some people were kind of making a meme about that, about how every episode I'm going to keep talking about and being sad about how I accidentally didn't record the first 28 minutes. And people also keep telling me, hey, fool, stop apologizing constantly for doing a podcast. You don't have to worry about it. We're here. We're here for it. You don't have to apologize like the whole first 30 minutes for doing a podcast. It's all right. And look, I have heard you, and I understand. And now I'm here today before you, and I want to apologize for all of the apologizing. You were right. And I just wanted to right that wrong real quick at the beginning of this. And I want to let you know that this podcast is now on Spotify. A lot of people have been asking, hey, are you going to put this on Spotify? Are you going to put it on something else that I could listen to? And at first, I was scratching my beanie. I was like, hey, fool, you're already right here. Like, you could hear it right now. Why do you want me to put it somewhere else? Like, I was stuck, for real. That would be like if I went to McDonald's and I was like, this is a stupid example, I'm already regretting it. It's like if I went to McDonald's and I wanted a Big Mac and I was like, hey, is there a way that you could send this Big Mac to Carl's Jr. and I could go pick it up over there real quick? And it's like, what? It's right here, fool. So I was stuck, to be honest. I didn't get it. And then I was like, plus, I mean, not that anybody wants to stare at me, but I was like, plus, you could see it, like, if there's something that you could also look at, and look at, I sound like a big old hypocrite now, because last time I was talking about how I didn't want to look at stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna delete this one too. I'm like this close to deleting this one. But anyway, people were telling me, no, it's because like when you don't have YouTube Premium, if you close your phone, then the video stops and you can't hear it and drains too much battery. And I was like, that's true. Like that always happens to me whenever I'm like doing yard work or something and I'm trying to listen to like a podcast or whatever, some long video on YouTube, and I put it in my pocket. I'm always like butt dialing other channels. So I'll put it in my pocket and I'll be trying to like, I'll be like mowing the lawn and I'll be listening to like We Out Here MMA. And I'm trying to listen to that recap, no cap and whatnot. And I'm like hearing the picks and stuff and like hearing how they feel about whatever. Conor McGregor 19.0 and stuff like that. And how people keep thinking he's going to come back, but they're just like delusional or whatever. And then all of a sudden I butt dial and then I'm like listening to like Doja Cat. I'm like, what the heck? And like, I don't mind Doja Cat that much, but when I want to hear the picks and the breakdowns, I'm not trying to hear that stuff. And then sometimes Marilena's going through my history and I'm like, hey, that was a butt dial. And then it's always hard to explain. And then like when you go and delete stuff like intentionally, and then you could, there's ways that you could see that, and then it makes it even worse that you consciously deleted it and it looks even more suspect. It's like, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I don't know if your ladies have that app, but it's a whole thing. And I understand now because like I don't have premium. A lot of people probably don't have premium. So that happens a lot. And if it's on Spotify, you could close the phone and you can still hear it. So I get it. This podcast is now on Spotify. And I will have the link below in the description. You could go there. It is there for your listening pleasure. And it is for you. It's 100% for you. I'm gonna tell you right now, me being on Spotify does nothing for me. Like they didn't give me 200 million or whatever they gave Joe Rogan. It's just like because people were asking for it. Honestly, it helps me on YouTube if you watch it, but not on Spotify. So If you want to go listen to it on Spotify, and then maybe when you go to sleep, play it on YouTube just to help, balance out the universe, I would appreciate it very much. I also want to tell you that I feel kind of gross doing this, and I try not to do it too often. Don't even lie. I do not do this often. Have I done it? Yeah. Do I do it often? No, I don't. Don't lie. I want to tell you, if you appreciate this podcast, if you like that I'm doing it, because I know some people don't. I know some people don't care about Grandmaster Jesse. And yes, there are moments when I refer to myself in the third person. I actually do it more often than I would like to admit. But are there people that only watch this channel because of the breakdowns and they don't particularly care about Grandmaster Jesse? Yes. That's just a fact. That's just the way it is. I have to accept that. But then there are some people here. There are some the loyalists, the loyal viewers that look at. I was listening to someone the other day and they were calling their viewers their fans. Mira, if you ever hear me refer to you as fans, I want you to unsubscribe to me. The day you hear me refer to you as fans, I want you to unsubscribe, because that means I changed. All right? But like the loyalists, the loyal viewers, they'll like watch no matter what. Because like I always say, that's what I do with my favorite channels. If it's my favorite channel, I don't care what they're talking about. I'm there because I like the person, But there's some people that are just here for the breakdowns, and I get that. But if you like what I'm doing here, if you like the podcast, if you like the long format, and look, someone told me the other day, oh my gosh, I read a comment and he's like, "Hey fool, I like the podcast, but you know what would be better? If you broke it up into like 10-minute videos." And I'm like, "Hey fool, that's not a podcast then." And he didn't say it like, do your one podcast and then also break. He was like, just do it in shorter things. And I'm like, oh, okay, fool, that's not a podcast then. And I'm trying to do a podcast. Plus, the way that I go, that I'm just riffing under the beanie, I can't even do that, because like when you cut them up like that into segments, you gotta have like a consistent chunk of whatever topic. And my brain doesn't get down like that. I'm always going on these different tangents, and then I come back here, and then I go to that thing, and then I bring it back around, and then I can't do that, because it'll just be like incoherent. So if you like what I'm doing here, if you like the long form, if you like this, please show YouTube and myself by liking and leaving any comment. Look, some people tell me, and I mentioned this last time, they're like, I don't know what to say. I just want to support and I want to feed the algorithm, but I don't even know what to say. Okay, if you want to help today, put green tea. Type in green tea. If you want to support and just let me and YouTube know that you want me to keep doing this, but you don't know like what to say, just type in green tea. And that will tell me and YouTube like, hey, just keep doing this. I like it. If you hate the podcast, and you just want to see breakdowns or whatever, and you're not here for this, then you don't have to say anything. Or you could just say, "Hey, fool, I hate you." I don't know. Or you could say, you could just put, "Hey, I'm selfish and I'm just here for my own selfish needs and I don't want to support you or your channel." You could put that. And I know there's gonna be some fools that do want to support me in the channel, and they're not gonna be able to help themselves, and they're gonna type that in anyway, and I can't blame you. But I gotta tell you, it would let me know that you really are for me and that you're supporting what I'm doing if you put green tea. And if you can't help yourself, but you want to compromise and meet me in the middle, then you could put like green tea / A4, I hate you, I'm only here for the break, that whatever I said before, I can't remember. But that would be funny. That would be funny if you put both, actually. And I do want to let you know that like hopefully I could figure it out, because I've never done this before. But I'm gonna start putting timestamps at the bottom. And look, I'm not trying to take your job, Sad Addict. I've been conflicted about this. I've actually been thinking about you, Sad Addict. I've been split about this, that split decision. Because like on one hand, on all the hands, I'm like, it's crazy what Sad Addict does. Like, you don't even understand how much time that takes and dedication. When you do the timestamps, I appreciate it very much. It's an honor that you spend that much time looking at all of it. So I'm like, man, I don't want him to think like I'm taking his job away from him. But at the other time, like on just like one of the hands, because like I want to give you all the hands for that credit. But then like on at least one hand, I'm like, I also feel bad, because I feel like, man, you're doing all that work. And I feel like maybe if I did him, he wouldn't feel obligated. I felt bad, because I'm like, maybe he feels like he set that bar, and now like if he doesn't do it, people are gonna be like, hey, Sad Addict, you fell off. And oh man, I almost forgot, it's time for a green tea break. Hold up. Time for that Lipton infused Kirkland. I almost forgot. But on like at least half of a hand or something, I always feel kind of bad. Like, man, what if he started doing it and now he feels like he has to do it on all the longer videos because like people expect? I don't know. But as a creator, I feel obligated to do this now. Like, I have to put the internal timestamps. And Sad Addict, please hear me. Please do not let this discourage you or sway you away from doing the timestamps anymore, because your timestamps are, it's like mine but better. They're like more creative, and you'll put in like the funny stuff that like people would never see otherwise. The little moments, like those things blow my mind when you put like the little random things that like other people would miss. It's so funny and like intricative, you know. And the way that I'm gonna do it is more like segmented. So it's like, okay, if you want to hear about that fight, if you want to hear about my neighbors, if you want to hear about this sandwich that I had that I will get to in a moment, then you could go like that. Because I have noticed in these hour plus podcasts that I'm making, I think I said naking, that I'm making, I have checked the analytics. In these hour plus podcasts that I'm making, people are watching on average of 12 minutes and 7 seconds. So I figured maybe if I put segments, people could at least identify, oh, I'll listen to that one because that looks good. And then maybe they listen 13 minutes and 7 seconds. And then like ahead, they're like, oh, that one, I'll stay for that one. And then they watch 14 minutes and 7 seconds. I don't know, but I just figure as a creator, it's my obligation. I gotta be more on top of things like that. And like I said, I never even done it before. I might have to watch a tutorial. I don't even know how to do it. But I've seen other creators doing this, so I should be able to figure it out. But I'm gonna start putting timestamps, and please, Sad Addict, don't take this personally. I don't want you to think that it's anything like that. I hope you keep doing them. Look, I shouldn't have said that because now you're gonna feel obligated. But I just want you to know, I mean, you see the comments and the thumbs up from everybody too. Everybody appreciates it. And like I said, your timestamps are way different than mine, so they shouldn't conflict at all. And I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by my Patreon and my YouTube membership. Look, everything's all good and beautiful with X Marshall, but I've been getting a ton of messages and comments that my promo code wasn't working, that 20% off one. So I guess we got to figure that out. The original 10% off one is working, Mexican Martial Arts, I believe, but the Mexican Martial Arts 20, I guess there was some problems with it and it hasn't been working. So I got to figure that out. I apologize. The last couple podcasts I've been pushing that one, and I guess it doesn't work. So today, this episode is sponsored by my Patreon and my YouTube membership. A lot of people, especially since I've been doing this podcast, have been like, hey, you should do a podcast in that character that you made called Vincent. First of all, hey, if I'm right here doing this podcast, why are you gonna like, is this one not good enough for you or what? It's like, oh, that's nice and everything, but can you do it like that instead? All right. So look, I have no interest in doing a podcast in that character. That's not a thing. That's not what I want to do. Like, you might as well be like, hey, I like your podcast, but can you instead show me how to make a boat in a glass bottle? And it's like, no, I don't do that, fool. I'm sorry. So if you do want to see me in that Vincent character talking about behind the scenes stuff and whatever random stuff, then you could go to my Patreon and become a member at any price. Everything is the same. It's just however you want to help. I don't make tiers like specific to different things. If you're in even at $1, you get everything. Same thing on my YouTube membership. I upload the same stuff. So if you feel more comfortable on one than on the other, do whatever your heart desires. And I said a new thing in my head. once a week, I'm gonna be giving you a new video on that Vincent character every single week. And I know I said stuff in the past. I'm gonna be doing this on Patreon. I'm gonna be giving that away. I'm gonna be doing this, and then it fell through the cracks, and I failed, and I didn't live up to it, and I was too scattered, and I was not organized, and that stuff happens. But now I'm saying every single week I'm gonna be giving you videos in that Vincent character until that falls through the cracks and I fail at that as well. But we'll see how long that lasts. But that's my sponsor today, myself. And if you want to, somewhere down here below, you'll see something that says join if you want to be a YouTube member. Or I'll have a link below to Patreon if you want to go on there. Patreon does let me keep more percentage of the money, in case you're wondering. But that's up to you. I also want to touch on Captain Crunch. Because, you know what? I don't understand it. I started showing love to Captain Crunch. To the captain. I started showing love, and people, like, the far majority were like, that's what's up, that's the best cereal ever made. And I was like, all right, I like it. I started to feel like my people are here for me, like we're all on that same wavelength. But then there were some people, like, there was this underground chunk of the people that were like, it's crazy, it's like this one very specific demographic, and they were like, hey, we can't eat Captain Crunch because, like, it messes up the roof of our mouths. And I was like, what? The roof of your mouth? And, like, I saw this comment repeatedly from like so many people, and they were like, I could understand if it was like one fool and, like, the course of his life had been changed because of some dramatic Captain Crunch incident, and, like, now he, like, was telling his life story and, like, had written a book and everything, and he was, like, going hard and, like, spamming me. I could understand that. But it was like multiple people from different walks of life, probably never met each other, and I was like, what is this conspiracy? And people were like, hey, fool, how do you eat that? What about the roof of your mouth? And I was like, what about the roof of my mouth, homie? And they were saying that, like, Captain Crunch, like, that it, like, scratches up the top of their mouth and, like, the roof of their mouth, and that it causes, like, sores, and it's too rough, and it makes them bleed. And I was like, how are you using a spoon? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, are these people's upper mouth made of, like, tissue paper? Like, I don't get it. I've been eating Captain Crunch. And look, some people called me on this, and I'm not gonna try to sweep it under the rug. I'm gonna talk about it. Some people called me on the fact that I've been saying Captain Crunch this, Captain Crunch that, and then I showed some of it, and they were like, "Hey, fool, that's not Captain Crunch. That's that Berry Colossal Crunch, fool. That's that stuff. That's that generic stuff." And I was like, "Hey, it's the same thing." I go back and forth. Sometimes I get the box, sometimes I get the bag. It's the same thing. All right? It's like Lipton or Kirkland. It's basically the same thing, unless one of them wants to sponsor, and then I hate the other one and I love the other one. But it's the same thing, basically. The Colossal Crunch or the Captain Crunch. Someone called me on that. I'm not gonna hide it. Just like, you know what happened the other day? I'm gonna get to that later. Remind me so I don't forget, because I want to keep my segments in order. I have to be responsible now with my segment control. But people were like, "Hey, what about the roof of your mouth, homie?" And I've been getting down with this stuff my whole life. I never had a problem. So I don't know if I got, like, that beast upper mouth or what. I was talking about how I got a tongue tie the other day, and that's why I'm a mouth breather. But I don't know, maybe having a tongue tie, maybe it helps develop superior roof of the mouth. I don't know. I will have to ask my dentist once I am again insured, and I have a dentist, because my old dentist does not accept Medi-Cal. I don't even think I have a Medi-Cal right now. I don't have anything. Obama's looking for me right now as we speak. But I don't understand it. There was, like, this group of people that were, like, anti-Captain Crunch. They were like, nah, fool. I ate Captain Crunch one summer and I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak till January because my mouth, it was a balloon. And I was like, all right, well, you might have been getting like the wrong. You might have been, I think your mom was telling you was Captain Crunch and she was giving you that cinnamon toast crunch with the shrimp and whatnot. That shrimp tail scratched you or something. I don't know. Trying to get out of the box, flipping around. I don't think it was Captain Crunch. I've been getting down with that for the longest. I ain't never had any problems. But right now I'm about to have a green tea break. That's all I know. That's all I know. And look, if you have problems with it, and you just still want to have that flavor, because it is the best. I mean, look, not only is the crunch the best, maybe that scares some people. I never even made that connection till right now. Maybe the word crunch, they make that connection and it scares them because they're like, oh, crunch, it's so hard, my mouth. Look, not only is the crunch amazing, because I do love that crunch, but the flavor itself is worth the risk, you know? So it's like, okay, if you can't handle the crunch, let it soak in that milk for a little bit. Sometimes I like it soggy. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I'm down with that Captain Soggy. I'll just let it marinate in there for a little bit. I'll just stir it up with a spoon, watch some TV, come back after a little bit. You just like drink it all up. It's like a soup. It's like Captain Soup. So if you're just worried about the inside of your mouth, you know what? What am I doing with my life? I'm like 20 something minutes in. I'm talking about Captain Crunch on the MMA podcast. But I made it clear last time. This is the only MMA podcast that's not about MMA. All right, so I'm not even tripping. This is the MMA podcast, not about MMA. I was gonna say mixed martial appetites because I'm talking about Captain Crunch, but I forgot I had already made that a thing prior. So I'm not being original right now. I was trying to think of something off the dome below the beanie, but I re-originated something that I had already came up with prior. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick. I don't get that. If you're having problems with it and you still want to enjoy it because of the flavor, then just let it get soggy. And then hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you besides that. I mean, what are you're on that Rice Krispie diet or what? Like, you got to have that, man. I remember I used to eat Rice Krispies. They had like no flavor. I would have to put like half a pound of sugar in there. Did you ever do that with your cereal? Like, tell me the truth. I know some people, man, because I like food and you know that. So I talk about food a lot on here and people are always like, hey, fool, relax. You go too hard. And like, it seems like there's not a lot of foodies on here. Or maybe you're afraid to speak up. But like, I know some people could relate. Be honest. Did you ever put so much sugar in your cereal that like at the end, when it's just the milk left and you go like that with the spoon, you could dig up like a bunch of sugar? It's like when you go to the beach and there's like that wet sand. It's like packed in, like the kind you make the sandcastle with. You could get the sugar like that, scrape it off the bottom, and just like you just eat the sugar off the. Oh man, I'm gonna go have some right now after this. Actually, I don't think I have any more cereal. Oh, I put it in my story the other day. I finished it, and I don't have any Rice Krispies here. I don't keep that stuff in the house unless it's the Rice Krispie treat. Those are unbelievable. I love those. You know what I started doing? I think I actually did it in a story one time. I can't remember. If you want good Rice Krispies, and this was one of the reasons, and it's 23 minutes in, and I'm still talking about cereal on MMA podcast. But one of the best things, like probably, oh man, this is like the closest competition Captain Crunch could get. Like serio, like too close for comfort. I'm telling you. You know how I told, like, there's people in the comments that have tried making the sopa like I make it, and they're like, hey, fool, you were right. Like, that's all I eat now. And the same thing with the corn. There's people that tried it, and they're like, tell me more. And I'm telling you, listen to me. And please tell me if you try this. Oh my goodness. Get a bunch of Rice Krispie treats. You know those ones I mean, right? Like in the blue packaging? Those ones like the little squares? Get like a bunch of those. Cut them up into like, I don't know, something reasonable. Like, I'm trying to imagine how big they are. Cut them up into like 8 or 10 like little tiny squares. Cut it in half, cut them up, little rectangles. I just said squares, now I'm saying rectangles. Cut them up into little triangles, whatever you want. And then put them in the bowl with milk. And those are your little cereals. Eat that. Oh my gosh, it will change your life. Like it'll probably give you like different types of sicknesses and whatnot, like literally change your life. But even as far as like your happiness, like if you eat for happiness, like I tend to do, like I don't even know the last time I was hungry. I only eat because like I want to get happy, or because my mouth likes stuff. I don't even know if I'm ever hungry, because I'm just like perpetualistically eating, like just nonstop, because I'm like, I want that thing on my taste buds right now. That's a good idea. And then I do that. But I never like, I feel like I never feel hungry because I never let my body get there, you know? But try it. Let me know if you tried it. And I'm about to change the name of this podcast. Well, the name of the podcast doesn't necessarily indicate MMA. Not necessarily. So maybe this should be a food podcast. Maybe I should go in that direction. But I want to tell you real quick, since we're talking about food, I'm just going to touch on it real quick. Because I asked you last week, I asked you about flossing. I was asking people about flossing, like when you floss and you see something, what do you do with it? And a lot of people were lying. A lot of people were acting like they rub it on something, they flick it off, and you're lying. Because everybody eats it. Everybody eats it. It's just like that book that says like everybody poops. There's another book that says everybody eats it. It's not even like, you guys are lying. And it makes you look even worse when you lie, because then you just look dishonest. And everybody knows you're lying. So you would actually blend in more and look better if you just admitted that you eat it. Because everybody flosses and they go like this. And then they keep going. You just eat it off. How are you going to try to convince me that every single time you go rub it off somewhere or flick it off, you're going to be flossing for like 3 hours? But something else that I wanted to touch on is, all right, look, let me tell the story. The other day, I went to, I was at an event. I was at a type of event. And, there were food trucks there. And, Marilena was like, she was going to go get something. And she was like, do you want me to get you something? I was like, chale, I'm going to go to Carl's Jr. when we get out of here. I wasn't planning on eating, because I knew it was going to be like the movies. And then it was true. She told me, like, when she came back, I was like, well, how much is the stuff? And the sangwich was like $11. I was like, what? It's crazy. So I was like, we'll just, we'll be here for however long, and then we'll dip, and then I'll go get like a Western bacon, whatever, and I'll just wait. But like the time went on, and I was like, I was getting bored, and I was like, I gotta do something. My phone was dying, and I was like, all right, I'll get one. Because then she was going back to get something to drink, and then I was like, all right, I'll get one. So she came back with the sandwich, and it was a chicken sandwich. And you already know I love chicken sandwiches. I gotta be honest, and I know this probably isn't a popular opinion. I know a lot of people like beef, but I think I like chicken sandwiches like way more than I would like a cheeseburger. I love chicken sandwiches. I'm like a connoisseur of them. I like to like pit them against each other and whatnot, and like I have my different locations that I prefer. And she came back with it, and I opened it. I opened the wrapping, and it was like a weird, like it was like a foot long type of. It looked like it came from like Subway or something. Like it wasn't a little patty one. It was like a long chicken sandwich, and I opened the wrapping, and I looked at it. And I'm glad that I did this, because I mean, I guess in the long run, maybe it didn't matter, and you'll discover why in a moment. But I'm the type of person, if I'm going to eat something, if I'm going to drink something, I don't know if it's something from my childhood or what, but I always like observe it, spend some time looking at it, I smell it. I've been known to listen to it. I saw some lady at the store the other day. She was like listening to watermelons. I showed my kid. I was like, hey, look at her. Look at that lady. She was holding up the watermelon, like waiting for it to speak to her or something. I don't know what was up with that lady. Maybe she was making a TikTok or something. I don't know. But she was like knocking on it and like listening to, I don't know, she thought I was going to knock back or what. But I was just staring at her. I was holding my tajin over there in the fruit section. I was just looking at that lady. Like, I didn't even care if she saw me. I was just stuck. And she was trying to hear that watermelon. But I'm the same way with my food, I gotta admit. So I was observing the sandwich. And I'm gonna let you know what happened right after these messages, after this green tea break. Hold up. I was observing the sandwich. And for some reason, I was admiring this thing. Like, I turned it around. That's a lot of observing. Like, let's take a moment to acknowledge this. That's like above and beyond type of observing. Like imagine this with your own food. Like, you're looking at it so much, you're smelling it, you're listening to it, and then you even like flip it around. Like, what do you expect to see? It's probably symmetrical, it's just a sandwich. It shouldn't have like different types of features on the other side, right? Typically. But in this case, let's get there. I turned the sandwich around. And I looked at it. And on the very, very end of the sandwich, I saw. And go ahead and finish the phrase along with me if you could tell what I'm going to say. On the very tip of the sandwich, I saw a little black curly hair. It was just resting there like a little mustache on my sandwich. Do you see that episode of Friends? How'd you wind up there, little black curly hair? Like, that episode, that was in my mind right there. I was like, oh snap, how'd you wind up there? And that prompted my question to Marilena. I looked at this hair for a few moments, and Marilena looked over to me and she could see that I was stuck, and she was like, what's wrong? And I told her, Marilena, that fool that handed you the sandwich, please tell me that he had a beard. He had a beard, right? And she had just got the sandwich, like, I don't know, 90 seconds ago. And her response was, I don't remember. I don't remember if the gentleman's face that I just saw and had a transaction with 90 seconds ago had a beard sticking out of his face. She didn't know. This same Marilena that I have had many disagreements with her trying to articulate to me just how very thorough she is. Yeah, this same Marilena. And she said, why? Why, Grandmaster? She says that sometimes just, she knows I like it. That I like it. And I said, there's a hair on my sandwich. And she looked at it and she said, do you want me to take it back? And look it. I know I just told you that I never really get hungry because I never allow myself to get to that point. And I don't know if in that moment it was a mental hunger. Like, I was bored, I was there forever, it was hot, I wanted something to do, or if I was actually hungry, I don't know. It was a type of hunger. But it was in the hunger category. We're still there. We're still in that zone. It was hunger no matter what the inspiration. I was experiencing hunger. She said, "You want me to take it back?" And I looked at it. And I grabbed it. I pinched it, you know? And I went like that. Like that. I was like the black curly hair bae. I went like that. And regrettably, I did it. I did it in Madeleina's direction. But that's not part of the story. That's we don't need to stop there. That's a whole other podcast. But I little black curly hair baited into the grass. And I mean, who knows? I'll go back there someday and there'll be a little black curly hair tree that sprouted from my experience. But I was like, I took it off and I baited it. And then I went I said, nah. I couldn't wait that long again. It took a while. I just went, nah. And I turned it around. And here was my thinking. This was my thought process. I thought, if this sandwich is good enough, because it was like, I'm telling you, it was like a foot long. It was a big old sandwich. I thought to myself, if this sandwich is good enough, by the time I get by the time I get 12 inches deep, I'm not even going to care about the hair anymore. That's how much I love chicken sandwiches. That's how much I love chicken sandwiches. And just to be cautious, because that's just my nature. Once I had turned it around, I peeked in. I picked it up because I was like, because look, let's be honest. If there was a hair perfectly placed at the very, very end of the sandwich, you know there was a bunch of hairs inside. We know this. If there was one like right perfectly on the edge peeking out, right on the face of that thing, that little stash looking at me, you know there was a bunch embedded into that cheese, into that special sauce, which on this particular day was just a little more special. But I was like, you know what? If I don't see it, you know, then I don't believe it, you know? That seeing is believing. I was like, if I don't see it, I don't believe it. So I looked real quick. I kind of just like peeked. I was like, all right, I don't see it. Because I wanted to eat the sandwich. And I got to tell you. Look it. I don't know if I have expressed on this channel enough how much I love chicken sandwiches. Okay? So I don't play with these words. I don't speak of these things loosely. It doesn't happen. I'm telling you right here, right now. That very well might have been the best chicken sandwich I've ever had in my life. In my life. And I've had too many chicken sandwiches. It was so good. So I got to the end of it. I'm 11 3/4 deep at this point. All right? I'm in that 1/4 stash territory. I'm at ground zero. And this is this is a pivotal moment in my life right here. There's no going back from this. It's a fork in the road. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened right after this green tea break. Hold on. I asked Marilena if she had a napkin, and she did not. See, this particular day in that food truck, they were placing little black curly hairs in sandwiches, and they were also not giving out any napkins on this particular day. No napkin to be found in the bag. So I was like, okay. So look at this. This is purely a reflection of how good this chicken sandwich was. I picked up the bag that our food was in. The bag. This was a brown paper bag. And those aren't even easy to find these days. But I picked up this brown paper bag. And I crumpled it up a little bit. And I used it as a napkin. And this was more like mentally than anything. This was for me. I used this brown paper bag napkin, and I scrubbed the area where the hair once was. The old stomping grounds of that little black curly hair. I scrubbed it, I brushed it a little, I kind of scraped it. But not too much because I didn't want the sauce to come off. This sauce, I don't even... I wanted to take a little bit home and reverse engineer it. I wanted to know, it's probably like mayonnaise and ketchup. You know how they do that? But what kind of mayonnaise? What kind of ketchup? You know? Those things are important. Maybe a little bit of mustard. Was it hot mustard? Was it honey mustard? I don't know. Kind of cleanse the area a little bit, you know? Salt bathe that brown paper bag napkin. And I ate it. And today me and that chef have this deep personal connection, this bond, this chemical. We became one that day. And about an hour and a half later, when it was time to leave, I want you to understand. I want you to understand the scope of. I want you to know, with no in no unclear terms, how unbelievable the sandwich was. After this experience, about an hour and a half later, when it was time to leave, I could not leave. And I know this is gonna. I mean, if you know me well enough by now, you know this is not a lie. If you just stumbled across this video the first time ever, you're gonna think, oh, he's making this up. If you've been here for any extended period of time, you know I'm not making this up. It was time to leave, but I couldn't. I had tried to get out, but they pulled me back in. And I got a second chicken sandwich. I got a second one. And it wasn't until this very moment, as I'm saying this, as I sit here before you, that I realized that I didn't check that one for hairs. I completely forgot. By the time I got to that second chicken sandwich, I think the experience of the first one and how amazing it was or whatever, I don't even know. I completely forgot about it till right now. And I recommended it to someone else there. And they concurred that that was the best chicken sandwich that they also ever had in their... Hey, imagine that is the hair. Imagine it just has like this thing that no one ever... It's like cilantro, you know? Like it's just this one little... It has that kick, you know? That nobody ever thought of, but this one fool was like, I got you. It was like Spider-Man or something. You know, it was like this accident. The fool just came out of the shower and he was like whipping up dinner, and then like some stuff went wrong, you know? He had the fan on or something. I don't know. I don't want to get too graphic. This is a family show, all right? But like something, it was like a superhero kind of origin, you know? This fool came out. He's like, I don't got time to put clothes on. I'm hungry. And then he just starts whipping stuff together. Maybe he's got some music on. He's moving it around a little too much. Boom. Finds a secret ingredient. The world is never the same. I like to think that's what happened. No, actually I don't. What am I talking about? I hope it was his beard. His beard. It could have also been his underarm. And now I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head. But there was other things that I wanted to talk about today. And I really hope that you're enjoying me doing podcasts. And look, if you're an MMA head and all you get on YouTube and all you get on this channel for is MMA, then like you really are not going to enjoy this. And I understand that. I completely understand that and I accept that. But if you are enjoying the podcast, again, I would appreciate it very much if you would like the video and let me know. Because I'm going through a real funky time right now. I thought for sure I was going to have another breakdown done this week. And I got to tell you, like, we're about 47 minutes in right now, if I'm timing this right. It's just, it just hasn't been there lately. I remember when I used to have other types of jobs, like, you know, you could show up, like, say you're not feeling it and you hate your job, you know, you're not feeling good, your mind is somewhere else. Who cares? You know, you show up at 8, at 9, whatever, you clock in. And then when you're done, you clock out. You know, you stack those boxes. You file those papers. You fry those chicken nuggets, whatever it is. And it's like, okay, I don't like this. Okay, whatever. I got to pay for my car, you know, whatever. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to go home and watch Netflix. Or you could call in, someone cover you. I don't know. And like, I've been trying to put this breakdown together and I just sit there and it's like, I can't call in, you know? I can't get someone to cover me. And it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, imagine if, imagine you're like a painter. You're like Michelangelo or something. Put some like bunch of color at the tip of your nunchucks. Like you open your, let's say you open your own art gallery, your own museum, you know, you make a career out of this. And you're an artist, you're a painter, you know, you paint these things every day. You wake up, you paint, people are coming and like admiring them and buying them daily. New painting, new painting. Look, I just did this one yesterday. Imagine one day you're like, I don't even want to paint anymore. And then you try to paint, you're like, okay, but this is my job. I need to paint. What am I talking about? I don't want to paint. This is my job. So then you go and you're like, trying to paint, you're like, this isn't working. Like, it's not good. I don't even like this. I got to believe in this if anyone else is going to believe in it. And you're looking at it and you're like, and then all you could think about is like other stuff you want to do. Or even just how much you don't even want to do this. And you're even like resenting it. And you're just like, I built my whole career around this thing, my whole life around this thing. Like, this is what I do. This is what people are showing up for. And now I don't even want to do it anymore. And then it's like, uh-oh. What now? And look, maybe I'm hoping I'll get out of this place. I'm really hoping that I'll get out of this place. And I'll talk more about that after this green tea break. I really want to get out of this place and get back into it. But you know what? Sometimes doing these breakdowns, it's like if you're a musician. Imagine being a songwriter and you write the same song every week. You just keep writing the same song. Or maybe you try to change the words, but it's in the same format, in the same key. Every week, every single week, the same song. It's like being stuck in Groundhog Day. I'm like Bill Murphy, just like the same song, and it's like, man, I think like I like different kinds of songs. Or you know what? I'm kind of sick of music today. And I don't know if I'm just like trying to act like, you know how everybody thinks their thing is the hardest. I don't know if I'm doing something like that, but like personally, I think it's like hard to be funny because like everybody thinks different things are funny, and like you'll see comments of one person thinking something's the funniest thing ever, and someone else about the same thing is like, oh, this is stupid. So it's like, it's crazy hard to try to be funny enough for like that middle ground. So then, especially if you're not feeling it and you're not feeling funny, like I haven't been feeling very funny lately. Like, and I don't mean like, I don't even mean in the sense of like, I write a joke and I look at it and I'm like, that's not funny. That's not what I mean. Like, as a like, I don't even know, like, it's like deep. Like, I don't feel like being funny right now, I guess. Cause I'm not like, I'm not like in a funny mood lately. I'm not gonna go into a lot of details right now or ever, but the last few days, me and Marilena and one of our kids have been out of communication. And it's not a bad thing. Nothing happened with us. Nothing went down. It's like nothing at all like that. But Marilena had to do something somewhere with one of our kids. And we have like zero communication. Like we can't text. We can't, like, nothing. And that's never happened in a lot of years. Like, that's never happened. And I don't feel funny. I feel kind of sick. I kind of feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. And I didn't think I was going to take it this hard. I was like, I'm going to be getting stuff done. I'm going to be able to focus. I'm going to be working on this and that. And it's like, you know, I'm outside at night just looking at the sky and stuff like that. Like, you know, some teen movie or something like that. And I just don't feel funny. I just feel like I don't even know how to function right now. So it's like I was like all day yesterday and the day before, I was sitting in front of my computer trying to finish a video, and it's like, I can't. And I was literally thinking, man, I hope enough people like the podcast that I could survive doing this for however until I could get another breakdown done. But I'm just trying to be real with you. I'm always trying to walk that line of like pity party and being real. Cause I don't know. Nobody wants to watch someone complain, But and then some people are too quick to say that, like, hey fool, if I'm being real with you and letting you in my life a little bit, that's not complaining. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what to do sometimes. It's not like old jobs I had where I could still put the time in, clock out, and just be a body there doing what needs to be done. It's like, how do I weave this little thing together and try to make people laugh throughout if I just don't even like want to be awake right now? But having said that, Conor and Poirier is officially back on, and I don't know if anybody. Let me say this: the people that actually believe that McGregor and Poirier was off, those are the same fools that thought Khabib was gonna fight again. Let's acknowledge that. The same people that actually thought that fight was off are the same people that were like, oh, Dana White said Khabib's gonna fight again? Okay, I believe it. The same fools that believe that Adesanya beat Mero. These are all the same kind of people. They're all the same fool. The same people that say that they don't eat the food that they floss out of their teeth. Those are all the same people. The same people that say that Captain Crunch destroys the inside of their mouth. We need to send these people to an island. I'm just kidding. I can't incite violence. Well, you don't have to be violent about it. Just do it like nicely, you know? Just like kind of like direct them toward the island and encourage them. But it's funny, like there was all these papas the last few days, and you didn't give me the money, and I gave you the money, and oh no, he didn't. What am I talking about? Well, I didn't give you the money because you didn't do that. All right, well, you're a punk and the fight's off, and I'm going to look for a new fighter. And it was like, yeah, right. Like all those times he's supposedly retired or whatever, too. And then today, I saw articles saying Dana White announces and McGregor, the contract has been signed. And like and it's funny, they didn't even acknowledge. I love the way Dana did it. Like, according to what I've been reading, there was all this talk about the fight's off. There's going to be another fighter. It's not going to be Poirier. And then just like Dana White's like, it's on. July 10th. Full capacity. It's happening. And he didn't even acknowledge all that other nonsense. He's like, I'm not even going to. You guys are dumb. He's like, you're stupid. The fight is on. What are you talking about? And it's not even being talked about anymore. Maybe different pages will still like bring it up or whatever. But I think it's funny how like they're putting out all these shenanigans and trying to create drama. And there's a lot of people that believe that it's an inside thing. That Poirier and Conor are like, you know what? Let's cut the nice guy stuff. Let's play it up. And that Conor actually did pay it. I don't really care. To be honest, I think Conor did pay it. Conor is someone that has a big ego. And that's not even me talking papas. That's not me saying, because that's not like something to pat yourself on the back on. That's not something to brag about. That's like that's a bad thing. But Conor has a big ego. And I think I just said that prior thing in a very confusing way. But anyway, Conor has a big ego and a lot of pride. And the way I understand it and the way I look at it, for Conor to have lost in the fashion that he did against Poirier, to have lost period, and to have lost in the fashion that he did, I think it would hurt his ego even more and his pride even more to, on top of that, punk out and not pay it. I think because of his pride and because of his ego, after that loss, he'd be like, all right, here you go, because I got money. I think it would be even more of a blow to his pride to act like he couldn't even pay up after that loss. So I believe he paid it. And I think that they're just trying to do this for the people. And it's like, hey, I guess that's respectable. Because the fans always say it. Their fans are always saying, hey, look, it's cool. We guess it's cool that you guys like each other. But we don't want to see that. We want to see, I like it. Oh, it was one of the homies from Way Out Here in MMA, I think. I was listening to it earlier. He said, that's what we want to see when you guys retire. Like, when we're leading up to the fight, let's see some drama, you know? So I think maybe they're just trying to give the people what they want, which is respectable. Because even though people do like to see people be cool with each other, what do fight fans want to see? They want to see fights. They want to see action and drama. So I think that's what they're trying to provide now. And either way, at the end of the day, the fight's on now. We heard it today, and now we're going to hear a green tea break. Something else that I read about this morning was Claressa, I don't know how to say her name. Claressa Shields. That boxer is now going into MMA. And look, I didn't know a lot about her. I didn't know much about her at all. I thought she was like, I thought she was going to be like 30-something and 0. Like crazy record. Turns out she only is 11 and 0. I'm not trying to downplay that, but like I've been hearing about her name for the longest and how she was like dominating, and I thought she was going to have this extensive record. And she's 11 and 0. Maybe she's one of those ones that had like 300 amateur fights. I don't know. I think she was trying to keep her amateur status because the Olympics. So maybe that's why she didn't get into it sooner. But I would just be curious to hear how a lot of you feel about that situation. I always think it's interesting because Claressa Shields is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, undefeated record, boxing champion, 26 years old, and now it looks like she's going to go into MMA. And I always wonder about that. Like if you're doing so successful and you're thriving in this one thing, it's like, why would you go and be like, all right, I'm going to do this other thing now? Like, you got to just be like a crazy competitive person that really thrives off of competition and not about money. Like, you have people that chase money and success in general and materialistic things, you know, leisure, comfort, early retirement. And then there's people like, I want to win, I gotta compete. And I guess I don't understand that, because I'm always like, make that bag and chill, you know? Like, those people that like get into real estate and they're retired by like 24 years old. It's like, what? But I just always look at that like, imagine you're like a really good hockey player and you're the best. You won like the Stanley Cups and you're just winning year after year, and then you're like, I don't know, you're getting into hockey fights and you're like, you're dominating, you're a cool guy and everybody's afraid of you and you still got all your teeth. And then you're like, you know what? I'm so good at hockey. I'm have no competition. I'm gonna go play basketball now. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? You're really good at hockey. Why are you gonna jeopardize that? And it's like, are you such an adrenaline junkie and such, like, I just gotta win, I gotta compete, I gotta show that I'm the best in this, I gotta show that I'm the best in that like you can't even help yourself? Is that what it is? Like, I'm not trying to like come down on people like that hard. I'm saying it out of like sheer curiosity, like, because I can't even understand. And she's only 11 and 0. If she was like 30, 40 something and 0, and she's like, I'm losing my mind, like, they're like, okay, I get it, I guess. You got to move on to something else, try something else. You're getting bored. But you're 11 and 0. Like, per like a lot of people's standards, it's like you shouldn't even have had a title shot at 11 and 0. Like, how are you a champion already? Like an established champion at 11 and 0. I think I saw when I looked on her Wikipedia, I think her first or second fight was for like some what's it called? I can't think of the word right now. When nobody has the title. I don't know, but there was like an available title. I'm gonna be so mad later. Someone's gonna leave it in the comment. I'm gonna be like, how did I forget that? But there was a title In her first or second fight, she was already fighting for it. It's like, what the heck? In a sport that you usually have to prove yourself for a long time for. And of course, they're usually like all bums and dives and journeymen and gatekeepers and all that. That's how you build up the boxing record. Or you have to go like overseas and like fight in the jungle or something like that. But still, it's just like unheard of. So she's like, I'm 11-0. I'm gonna go be an MMA fighter now. Because Kayla Harrison did it. I gotta do it too. And I don't know, that confuses me because like I don't understand the motivation behind that. I mean, isn't there way bigger money in boxing? And then what she has to consider, I saw this right away when I looked at her record. She's 11-0. 9 of those are by unanimous decision. 9 out of 11 of her fights, she has won by unanimous decision. I've never seen a single one of her fights. But you know what this tells me about her? That she doesn't have a whole lot of punching power. Now, you might be squirming in whatever seating device you are currently on right now, hearing me say that because maybe you're a big Claressa Shields fan. How dare you? She's an Olympic gold medalist. I don't know. Maybe you watch all of her fights and you're a big fan. But I'm looking at a record. And when you have 11 wins and 9 of them are by unanimous decision, I'm going to have to assume that you don't have a whole lot of punching power and that you've been playing that Arasaya game. You've been stick and moving. You've been doing that Philly roll, that Philly shower, whatever. And that's what, if you box, it's a science. And maybe you're a good boxer because of that sweet science. You hit when you need to, you don't get hit, you take the win. All right, cool. But now you're going into MMA. So you're going into MMA. Look, let me break it down for you, all right? You're going into MMA with no punching power. You're going into a sport where someone's going to single leg you and choke you out. If you went into MMA with crazy punching power, 11 knockouts, you could catch people. You could knock them out. You could do like Holly Holm did to Ronda Rousey. You could catch people. But according to your record, it doesn't look like you have punching power. What did Miesha Tate do to Holly Holm? Holly Holm was playing that game. She was playing that boxing game. She was going in and out. She was sticking and moving. She had power. She was floating around nicely. But then she got caught. You don't even have that punching power, Claressa. And look, I'm not hating on anybody. I'm not hating on any camps. I just think it's an interesting observation that she's at that same facility as Holly Holm. So do with that what you will. Do with that what you will. But Holly Holm is like, okay, she got that stand-up. And she's going to rely on catching people. But then she got taken down. Uh-oh. All right. Claressa Shields knows how to stand up. And can she catch people? I don't know. She has 9 unanimous decisions. She could land all day. I don't know if it's going to work. And then she could get taken down and get choked out. So hopefully she's doing something different. I don't know. I've been rooting for Holly Holm for the longest, and she keeps breaking my heart. I've been rooting for Michelle Waterson for the longest. She keeps breaking my heart. Again, do with that information what you will. I'm going to stop right there. I don't know why she's doing it. There might be a lot of you watching right now that have a million reasons. You're like, it's because this, fool. It's because that. Of course she needs to. I don't know. I think she could make more money in boxing. I think she could win a lot longer in boxing. I feel like she's setting herself up for failure. I feel like she's She has a perfect record in boxing right now, and she's gonna go into a sport that could capitalize on her holes and tarnish her perfect record and her name. I don't understand why people like playing with that. And I was gonna mention it earlier, but I was trying to stay in plan. I was trying to stay within my segments. And I just realized it's time for another green tea break. You might have realized as well. I try to keep them somewhat consistent. But I saw Rose, and I'm not gonna get all political over here or whatnot, but I just think like, how am I gonna not talk about this? Everybody's talking about Rose right now, about how she's talking about communism and how she's saying stuff about fighting Wei Li, and she admitted it today. She's like, you know what? Look, she cleared it up with Ariel, and you know it had to be Ariel. Of course, it had to be Ariel. He's always that guy. That one fool trying to Sally Jesse Raphael you. He's always that one, like, putting you on the spot. Like, wait, did you really say this? Did you really say that? How could you? Like, he's always trying to, like, expose people and, like, put them on blast, make them look bad. And then, like someone says something offensive to, like, a group of people and somehow says something disrespectful to him. But then, for some reason, he's the one that's crying on his Twitter. I don't know. But Ariel was like, hey, Rose, did you really say that? You monster, did you really say that one thing about Wei Li? And Rose was like, no, look, listen, let me clear it up for you. She's like, I'm dealing with like personal stuff. She said, when I go into fights, it's like a reflection, and I'm paraphrasing like badly here. I might get some of the wording wrong, but she was saying stuff like, when I go into fights, some of the stuff I feel and say is just based off my own experiences and stuff I'm dealing with internally. And she was saying that kind of thing. She's like, it has nothing to do with Wei Li personally. She's saying, I'm not saying that she's a communist punk and I don't like her face. She was like, it's not like that. She was just making like, I think she was just going off the dome, and she just said something. To be honest, I don't know why she even decided to insert it in with the narrative of her fight. If she's not taking it personally against Wei Li, then it's like, yeah, at that point, why even say it then? Like, if you're trying to create a narrative, trying to cut like an intriguing promo and stuff like that, I get it at that point. But then it's like, if you're gonna say it's not even personal, why'd you even say it then? But the whole thing was, she was talking about communism and saying that communism is bad, and saying like, I look at this fight as like freedom against communism, which it's weird that it seemed like anybody got bothered by that. Because, I mean, I guess MMA is like a pretty new thing still. Back in the day, like boxing, man, it's so racist. I remember like when it's boxing, like people are comfortable with it when it's boxing. It's always like this one country against that one country, and you hate that country, and you don't like. It's always like that. MMA is like, you could live in Arizona and your favorite fighter is like from Brazil or from Italy or from something like that. It's like you don't even care. But boxing, it was always like so racist. Like, I remember all my family, they'd always be like rooting for the Mexicans and be like, I want that white fool to die. And it's like, what? What? Why are you so mad? Like, I didn't get it. But in MMA, everybody's like, oh, you can't say that. And I guess Rose was just looking at it like old school, like how it was in boxing and how it was like in WWF and stuff like that, you know? Lex Luger coming out with the American flag and stuff like that. Hulk Hogan waving the flag. Then you got like the Iron Sheik and stuff, and like he's the bad guy, stuff like that. It was like widely accepted back then. But Ariel was calling her on it. She's like, it's not even like that. But I don't know. I'm surprised that it's even such a big deal. Is it like, maybe I'm not that politically like aware, but I didn't know that it was like, I didn't know anybody would be shocked by someone saying that communism is a bad thing. That shocks me. And I would ask the viewers right now, anybody watching this, like, that's in a communist country, do you like communism? Like, people that are actually living in it, like, how do you feel about it? But then I realized that you can't give me an honest answer or you'll get in trouble. So it's not really, it's a stalemate. Like, I can't really go anywhere with it. So I don't know. I just know a lot of people are buzzing about that right now, and a lot of people are mad about it. Especially because a lot of those people want America to be a communist. Let's move on. So, Holland. I was talking about this earlier, and I said, look, I'm going to talk about that later because I want to keep my segments. Again, I keep referencing that. I was talking about a meme earlier. I can't even remember what meme I was talking about now. It was so long ago. But I put a meme on my Instagram the other day. And let me tell you how it happened. I'm going to lay it out for you right here. Because some people, unfortunately, are going to get the wrong idea. Some people that like to assume. So I was on Twitter the other day, and I saw that Kevin Holland posted a photo. Kevin Holland. I don't know, hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't know. That's what he has on Instagram. I don't know how many followers he has on Twitter. But he's like a famous guy, you know. I'm not famous. There's going to be like 3,000 people that watch this. I'm not famous, all right? If you look at someone like me on YouTube and you're like, oh, well, you're famous, you're on YouTube. Hey, fool, you could upload a video today on YouTube, and I guess you're famous too. Anybody could be on. That's why it's called YouTube, because it could be you as well. I'm not famous. Kevin Holland, that fool's famous. So I didn't feel bad doing this, because it's like he's a famous fool. You know, I'm gonna take advantage. That's what you do. So Kevin Holland posted a photo. The photo was of him having like a Dagestani beard. And he was like that's funny. Like he's trying to say he's gonna come back as a wrestler, and he's gonna be better at grappling. Well, that's funny. Self-awareness, I get it. Right away, I was like, I had an idea. Because I had just been reading and just seen a bunch of stuff about the fight was off. No Conor, no Poirier. It's done. It's not going to happen. And I was like, I got an idea. And I was like, I'm going to put that. I threw it in Photoshop. I got the photo of Holland, threw it on Photoshop. And then I put beside it something like, hey, I heard Conor's looking for a new dance partner. I'm available, or something like that. I can't remember. And then I put I put Kevin Holland Madoff, something like, I don't even know how to say it. I just made up like a fake name that looked like he was from Dagestan or something like that. And I posted it. And I could tell on the Kevin Holland photo, someone else probably made it. I mean, I don't think Kevin Holland made it, obviously. I don't think he's like a Photoshopper. But you could tell on the photo, and you could tell if you go look at my Instagram. You could see beside him, there's like a little name. You know how like when fools that are like, they don't want you to steal their stuff, they put their name all over it? Because it might make millions of dollars and they don't want to miss out. There was a little name next to it, and I could go look at it. Look at it before you hear the next part and see if you could see it. Because now that I know the page, then I'm like, oh, I could see it now. Plus, I don't think I cared that much at first. Because it was like Holland posted it. But you could see that someone tried to like put their little name right here to take credit for it. So I posted it, and hours later, someone leaves a comment and they're like, hey, I would certainly appreciate it if you'd give me credit for the Photoshop. You know, kind of like sarcastic, like passive aggressive. Unless he's like British or something, I don't know. But I was like I read it a couple times. I was like, certainly, like, you think I did this on purpose or what? Like, you think I'm trying not to give you your props or what? Like, I was like, who's this Jeremy Stevens fool trying to run up on me? I don't even know who this. So I went to the page. I was like, who is this? And I saw that he had posted it. He's the one that made that photo with the beard of Holland, and he had posted it. I think like a whole day or two before. I was like, oh. The only thing that made me feel a little better was that he had less followers than me. So I was like, all right, good. At least it doesn't look like I was trying to steal from some big old meme page. But I never even heard of that fool. I was like, who's this guy? And then I commented back and I was like, hey, I would have tagged you, but I couldn't even read the thing. It was like so small. I was like, I couldn't even read it. And then after a few moments, I was like, he probably thought I stole it from his Instagram. He probably thought I stole it, in which case I would see his username. That fool probably thought I was lying, and I was like embarrassed and said I couldn't. And he's gonna be like, how did he not read it? So then I went back and left a second comment because I was like, I can't go out like that. That looks sketchy. But hold up, I'm getting like a throat thing. I need a green tea break. So I left another comment and I was like, hey, just so you know, I found this page on Kevin Holland's Twitter. I wanted him to know, like, I don't know you, fool. I never heard of you. You're like a preliminary, fool. Like, you're like the UFC Fight Night prelim. Like, I don't even know who you are, fool. So I was like, just so you know, I saw this on Kevin Holland's Twitter, and that fool didn't tag you either. Because I wanted to let him know I wasn't trying to take credit. I didn't even know how to find you. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know what that name said. I don't know anything. I saw Kevin Holland posted it. He didn't credit or tag anybody. So I was like, all right, this is some random photo that's he probably saw somewhere and he ripped. So like, okay, I'll take it too. And I put my own stuff on it. I put my own narrative on it. Turned it into a whole thing, Conor Poirier. And then on that fool's page, the one who made it on Instagram, when he made it, he tagged Holland. So Holland saw it there, put it on Twitter, didn't even tag the fool. Maybe the fool doesn't have a Twitter, I don't know. But I thought it was interesting that Holland didn't post it on Instagram where he could have tagged that fool. It's like, did he want to use it without giving someone credit? I don't know. But it just felt gross. And then it made me want to delete it. Because that fool was being like all passive aggressive about it. And then I left this comment and then I was like, now I just feel weird about it. Because then after I responded to him, now that fool doesn't want to talk. He just wanted to try to call me out. But then I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know how to find you. I couldn't even read the name. I put him in the description, tagged him. I was like, beard by, and I put that fool's name. Then I pinned this comment so everyone could see him getting credit. I was responding to him. Silence. I was like, oh, it's like that? So then I was like, forget that. I just want to delete it then. I don't even want to have his thing on there. I don't want him to feel like he has that on me, you know? But then I was like, that's going to look like I'm a punk. And like I'm trying to act like it never happened. And then I can't go out like that either. So I'm like, man, it just feels weird now. But I just wanted to acknowledge that that was like a weird thing, and it was frustrating. But I had brought up something about Holland or a meme earlier, and then I was gonna start talking about that, but I just wanted to revisit it real quick. That was a weird thing that happened yesterday, and I just didn't like that. Hey, for all I know, maybe it wasn't passive aggressive. Maybe that fool's British. Maybe he just talks different. Maybe he doesn't have his notifications on. I never have my stuff on either. I turn them on sometimes, like if I'm trying to communicate with Marilena or whatever, but most of the time, like, it just messes with my head. Like, I get too anxious about it. So I'm thinking, maybe he turned off his notifications. Maybe he didn't see that I was responding or whatever. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. But it just felt weird, and that was annoying. The next thing coming up is the UFC event on Saturday. And I don't even think I'm going to watch it, to be honest. There's nothing on that card that interested me. I know there's Gastelum and Whitaker, but at this point, it's like, I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing about how everything's simply a rematch for Adesanya. I'm sick of all these fools that know how to work on the ground, that know how to do takedowns, not doing it. I'm just tired of it. I'm just waiting for someone else to come in and just do the right thing from the get. Like, maybe Gastelum will do the right thing if he has another shot. Get those takedowns, take advantage of it in a better way. I don't know. Maybe Adesanya is just a little more broken mentally since that last one, and it'll just wear on him. I don't know. But it just doesn't interest me. The whole rematch thing, like everybody right now is a rematch for that fool. So it's just like, Nothing's exciting me right now in that. And then like the only other thing, like Tracy Cortez in the prelims, like Marilena's like chale. So I don't care about these fools rematching Adesanya. I can't even really watch it because of Tracy. So it's like I'm not gonna be able to take part in that one. But aside from that, that's the Ben Askren Jake Paul fight anyway. So on Saturday I'm gonna be covering that one. If anybody wants to see that sideshow, that's what I'm gonna be streaming on Saturday. That boxing match. So that I'm looking forward to. I did that breakdown weeks ago, and it was like stagnant for a while. Then it started taking off lately as the fight got closer, so that felt good. A lot of people have been watching that. And I've been saying that I want Ben Askren to win. I want him to win. I don't want people to get it twisted. I really want him to win, but my pick was that I thought Jake Paul would win. And it's really annoying that people have no respect for like the work and the conditioning put into wrestling. You know, the wrestling that Jake Paul did do. Because it's easy to look at Jake Paul and be like, but he wasn't an Olympic wrestler. But he wasn't an NAACP state champion wrestler. But it's like, hey, I didn't even do a lot of wrestling. I did wrestling, but I didn't even do a lot of it. There's people who did it way more than me. But and from my little experience and from seeing the other people, it's like, if he wrestled throughout middle school, he wrestled throughout high school, he wrestled maybe a little in college, why are you denying him the stamina? Why are you denying him? Look, I don't care. I'm not going to make a case for Jake Paul because I don't even like that fool. I want Ben Askren to win. It's just kind of frustrating how people allow themselves to be deceived just because they don't like somebody. And unless he just ruined his body with partying and stuff like that afterwards, which he probably did, Jake Paul was conditioned. He was a wrestler for years. So to just go on and on about Ben Askren's stamina because of being a wrestler, Jake Paul was a wrestler. If you want to root for Ben Askren, cool. I'm doing the same thing. But at least let's have good arguments for why we're believing what we're believing. I was saying that Jake looked hungry. He wants to prove himself. That fool sold his house. He's like, I gotta make this work. That fool's desperate. He has a lot of pride. He wants to build his name. He wants to build his empire. Ben Askren's like, I just want money. He even told Ariel, I don't ever want to be a full-time fighter again. This is all about money for him. And there's nothing wrong with that. But one fool really, really, really wants to win for several reasons. Another fool just wants that money. And that's fine. But that's why my pick was what it was. As it starts to get closer, it actually seems like Ben Askren probably wants to win. Like he wants to shut that fool up. But look, let's consider something right here. This isn't UFC. This is not the UFC. And I know a lot of people are already suspecting this in UFC anyway. I don't know how many of you saw McGregor versus Cerrone. I don't know. But we're talking about boxing right here. We're talking about boxing. You don't think fools take dives in boxing? We're talking about boxing right here. Have you even thought of the possibility that Jake Paul would pay Ben Askren even more to take the dive? Come on. You don't think Ben Askren's gonna take it? Especially if it's in Bitcoin? Come on. How much have we seen of Ben Askren? You don't think that fool would be down? He doesn't even care to ever be a full-time fighter again. Doesn't care about any championships. He just wants that money. Imagine Jake Paul's like, let me give you just a little bit extra. You know, maybe you go down round 3. I don't know. Ben Askren's like, hey, fool, I don't care. I don't need no integrity. I'm not in the UFC. I'm not trying to represent a brand, a company, an organization. I'm trying to get paid. I don't know. I don't want to make any erroneous claims and whatnot. I know a lot of people probably gambling on this, betting on this. There's probably legalistic things in there, loopholes and stuff where, you know, you got to keep certain things under wraps. But, you know, I'm just going to leave that right there. You do with that what you will. And I just want to say one more thing. This is my last topic today. I mentioned like my fantasy UFC layout in the last podcast about how I wanted things to play out with Diaz and Edwards and all that. And a lot of you agreed, and you were like, yeah, that would be cool. A lot of you just, to be honest, took it way too seriously. And were like, no, because of this. And what are you talking about? And I'm like, hey, fool, relax. It would just be a thing I would like to see. That's all. Go back to sleep. And I'm going to go on with that after this green tea break. But I was saying, I'm going to lay it out real quick. I was saying, and I wasn't necessarily saying I think it's going to play out this way. I was just saying it would be cool if it did. I would like to see this. Nate Diaz beats Leon Edwards. Masvidal beats Usman. And remember, I don't actually think this is going to happen, but I think it will be very exciting. Diaz beats Edwards. Masvidal beats Usman. Conor beats Poirier. Diaz fights Masvidal, gets revenge from that BMF thing. Diaz gets the bout. Diaz is the welterweight champion. Because Conor beat Poirier, finally they do the rematch. Diaz and Conor. Conor is all good with going up to welterweight for that super fight because it's for a championship. He's high off the win of Poirier. Such a big victory for him, especially with all the build-up and everything. Big old fight. I just want to add a little adjustment to that, a little alternative that could make me just as happy, maybe happier. Poirier beats Conor instead. Poirier and Diaz have been talking papas for a long time. So that would actually be another, to be honest, there's probably, and this might sound like a crazy thing to say, you could verify with me in the comments below how you feel about it. I think there's probably a lot of people that would like to see Diaz versus Poirier even more than Diaz and Conor, especially because Diaz actually won both fights. And people are like, we already know how that plays out. But I'm thinking about this adjustment. Poirier beats Conor. Diaz and Poirier fight. Diaz wins. While all that's happening, Conor has taken another fight. He beats Gaethje or something like that. I don't know. But he has some kind of notable win that will justify, after Diaz beats Poirier, Conor getting that title shot. Just from one big fight alone and the fanboys, Conor could get a title shot. He could be on like a 5-fight losing streak, which I think he is right now. And still get a title shot just because of the fanboys, just because of having a nation behind them, just because of having a Dana White power behind them, whatever it is. So that's just a little adjustment that I wanted to add. I think that could add even more excitement. If instead of Conor winning and fighting Diaz right away, Poirier wins, fights Diaz, Diaz wins, Conor has another exciting fight. He's high off that win. He fights Diaz, Diaz wins. And then maybe Diaz and Poirier have a rematch. I don't know. And I'm not even saying that because I'm like a big Poirier fan. Look, it's kind of hard to like Poirier. I always go on about how he's a nice guy. I don't want to give him a hard time. But he's kind of annoying. He's like, I don't know, like, it seems like he always is in a bad mood. He always has like a bad attitude. He's always like real tongue-in-cheek and just kind of being rude. I don't know. He's starting to become more and more unlikable, it seems like. I think he's just getting tired of the spotlight, getting tired of fighting. That fool just wants to sell that hot sauce. I don't know. But he just seems like a little grumpy. But this is definitely the longest podcast that I have ever done. I never even thought I was going to be doing them. I was saying forever, I'm not going to do them. That's not my thing. That's not why I got into it. I have no interest in it. And now it's like all I want to do. All I want to do is below the beanie. I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm kind of going through a weird spot right now with the breakdowns. And they're not gone. I mean, people expose themselves. They've been leaving comments in the first and second podcast. Hey, are you ever going to do breakdowns again? And I'm like, oh, you're the fools that don't listen past 12 minutes and 7 seconds. Because I've been saying I'm going to do breakdowns still. I keep saying that. I just say I don't know when. It's not going to be every single Wednesday. I'm doing the podcast every single Wednesday now. I'll do the breakdowns as I'm able to. I've been saying the breakdowns are not going away, but fools don't listen. But at the time, for the time being at least, they're not going to be as consistent as a podcast. And I got to tell you, I might not look like it. I know I look like I'm sleep deprived right now and like I'm not feeling this and like I don't want to do this. I have a lot of fun doing the podcast, to be honest with you. This is like my joy right now. So if you don't like it and you want me to stop and you're saying do the breakdowns, then you're kind of messed up. Then you're kind of, that's what I've established. I can't blame you. That's what you're primed to show up for. But that's just the difference from fools that are here who actually have made a connection with me and the channel and they want to support me no matter what I'm doing, and fools that are just like, give me a breakdown or shut up and I'm out of here. That's the difference. And I really enjoy doing the podcast right now. So again, if you haven't already, it will be a big help to me if you would like and leave a comment. So that it will justify me being allowed to keep doing this while I'm kind of going through a rough patch with the breakdowns. I don't want anybody to be confused by these podcasts and be like, you seem low energy. You seem like you don't want to do it. Don't even do it then if it's just for this or for that. I look forward to these. And even if I don't look like it, I really have fun doing them. So I hope you enjoy them. I guess I'm gonna cut it short. Well, I'm gonna cut it long for now. And I don't know what I'm gonna do right now. It takes forever to export and upload these long ones. So I don't even know. Like right now, it's 12:17 p.m. It just turned 12:18. By the time this exports and uploads and processes, it'll probably be like 6 p.m. I don't even know. But I just want you to know that I appreciate all of you. And I also want to tell you that I don't know what else to say, because I already talked for over an hour and a half. So thank you for watching Below the Beanie. Appreciate it. Good looking out. Lay.